I'll begin by saying that I am Susan Meehan, and I am here today talking with Gerald Rhoads. And it is Wednesday, January 14th in the year 2014. We are in the recording studio of the Cumberland County Historical Society. And it's my understanding that you will be 98 in March.
20th.
March 20th. And no glasses? Do you ever wear glasses?
I have a pair, yeah. But
More trouble than they're worth?
yeah. I use them when I watch TV.
Well, that's lucky for you, isn't it? Have you always lived in Cumberland County?
Yeah, I was born Carlisle, West North Street.
At home or?
At home.
Okay.
368 West North Street.
And had your parents always lived in Cumberland County also?
Yeah.
And what was your dad's line of work?
He was a shoe cutter.
Oh, at one of the big shoe manufacturers?
Lender.
Mm-hmm. And how about your mother? What was her maiden name?
Her maiden name was Small. She was born in Boiling Springs.
And
Or Mount Holly.
Mount Holly. So they had a long history in the county
Yeah.
also. Did she grow up in the town or did she grow up on a farm?
I grew up in town.
And your mother and father also?
368 West North Street.
Oh, what do you, and which school did you attend?
I attended a Wilson building and the Carlisle schools.
Mm-hmm.
And
The Lamberton High School or?
where the YMCA is now,
Okay.
that building. You know, I went to third grade in that building.
Oh.
I went to first and second in the Wilson building down in West North Street. And then I went
I expect you walked to school in those days.
I walked from West North Street to the Penn School.
Mm-hmm.
And then I, fifth and sixth grade, I went to the Lambert building, and I finished out high school in the Lambert building.
And did you go to have further schooling after that?
Huh?
Did you go to college at all?
I went to Carlisle Commercial College, and then I got a job in Maslin's, and I finished up in Maslin's.
Your whole working career was with Maslin.
Yeah.
Well, I know we have a picture of you in uniform. You must have served in the military.
Yeah. I was in 28th Division.
And did you serve overseas?
Yeah. Yeah. I come home and I was discharged in Indiantown Gap.
And then following your discharge, were you soon married after that, or had you been married before?
I was married before.
Oh, that was nice that you had,
Yeah.
your wife was waiting for you.
Yeah.
Was she a Carlisle girl?
Yeah.
What was her name?
Uh,
That's okay. You'll think of it later.
Marion Hayes.
Okay. And so,
She lived in Bedford Street.
oh, so pretty close to you then.
Yeah.
You were neighbor.
Yeah.
The girl next door, huh?
No, not quite.
But you knew her from
Yeah.
childhood.
Yeah.
That's very nice. We have some pictures that I think that you gave us of you in uniform, and I think also with Mary. And she's deceased now. Is that
Huh?
your wife is deceased now?
Yeah.
Is that? Oh, those are older. I thought we had. Well, I'll show you those later. So then, where did you live after you were married?
I lived in Bedford Street for a while, and then I bought a house in North Pitt Street, 900 North Pitt Street.
And were you there at that house for quite a while?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was there until I moved where I live now.
Wow. And you're in on Strawberry Square?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's a long period of time in one house. I'm going to go back to your childhood again here, because we have a picture of you as a Boy Scout at Camp Rothrock.
Yeah.
What was
It was Camp Rothrock was up at on Laurel.
and you went for 2 weeks or longer than that, or
Yeah.
and took hikes and built fires and
I spent 2 weeks in the summer at camp, and then went to the YMCA camp.
Did you have brothers that you grew up with? Brothers or sisters?
My brother is 13 years older than me.
Not much of a buddy.
He was out of high school before I started. Yeah.
Did you get close later on?
Huh?
Were you close to him later on in life?
No.
No, just
He got a job with the state, and he worked Sunbury and he was with the state the rest of his time. He worked for the chief engineer in this section, and then he was transferred to Williamsport, and he took Harold with him.
well. This we have a picture of. What was your first job at Maslin?
Receiving.
Because we have this picture from the shuttle from later on.
Yeah.
Did you have to go get special training to work with those machine?
No, I learned how.
It was on the job learning?
Yeah.
I showed the picture. This was with all the cards and
Yeah.
um,
Key punch operators
mhm.
and cards. And these were the computer where the discs were. The discs where they
Mhm.
stored the.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And
that's Burkholder.
okay, do you know the other guy or not? You can't bring him to mind.
I think that was Dick Cook.
And it looks like maybe you were supervisory.
Yeah,
You
I
have.
was. I was
Mm-hmm.
the supervisor.
Well, then, did this lead into? Did you ever work with the computers? The
Yeah.
other computers?
Yeah, that's these cabinets are part of the computer,
Mm-hmm.
and
Were you still working when the desktop computers came in?
yeah, we had desktop machines after these machines were. I had charge of the computer section, and we had about 3 different computers to one out did the other, and
But that was the nature of your work for the
Yeah.
whole time
well,
after they came in.
We had punch cards to start with, and we graduated from that to the computers. And we had discs and disc storage. And after I retired, they still had computers.
Mm-hmm. Well, we have a picture of you and your wife and I guess your eldest at the Maslin picnic.
Oh, yeah.
They took over the park for the day. And was your wife working at all, or was she just a homemaker?
He was a homemaker.
Mm-hmm.
She actually her when she worked, she was a cashier at Bixler's hardware store. Her and Belva Hagee were cashiers at
Yeah, Bixler's.
Bixler's hardware store.
All the stores that don't exist anymore.
Yeah.
Well, did you have a paper route or a job when you were a young boy?
I sold magazines, Saturday Evening Post.
And did you save your money, or did you buy a bicycle, or what were you doing with your?
No, I had a bicycle.
Uh-huh. I understand that you're a member of St. Paul's Church, or you used to
Yeah.
be. That was the
I
family.
was before that. I was with the Methodist Church. I was with the Methodist Church when it burned.
Oh. Do you have any stories about that?
No.
You didn't go down to see it or go across to see it.
I went, when it burned, I was there.
Were you?
Yeah. Yeah.
It must have been a pretty big fire.
Yeah. It was a fire. I remember being at that far in Bowman's store and Kronberg's burned, and I was at the with I guess that was Woolworths burned on North Hanover Street, and Bowman Stores in South Hanover Street, and
But were you there as an observer or as a volunteer fireman, or both?
I was there just as an observer.
Well, how about
When Kronberg's burned, I was with my dad. You know, I remember we went up the second floor of the courthouse and looked out the window at the fire.
wow?
And
Did your family have a car?
yeah, my dad had a Woolies Night, 1921 Woolies Night, and
Was that a touring kind of car, or was
Yeah.
it? Yeah. Then what was your first car?
my
Your
was
first very
a
own car.
Ford Coupe.
Did
I
you?
bought a Ford Coupe, and I had that till 19. Oh, I guess it was 1921, and then in 1940, I bought a brand new Ford touring car.
Have you always been a Ford customer?
Oh,
No, you.
I had a Pontiac and I had a Ford and Woolies Night. Pontiac.
You've had a good sampling then. Well, now we are interested in learning what you can tell us about the Odd Fellows, because we know that you know about the High Street building. When did you join the Odd Fellows?
After I got out of high school, I joined the Odd Fellows, and I was a member until they transferred the lodge to Balmansdale, and I dropped out.
But it was men of all ages.
Yeah.
And had your father been a member?
No, he was a member of the
Elks or moose or I can't think of who else there is.
He belonged to the Knights of Gold Nails.
Oh.
Down at it was above Cogburn Island Hardware Store on South Hanover Street.
Mm-hmm. So what was the nature of the Oddfellows? Can you talk at all about what you did? I mean, was this
Oh,
doing good in the community or self-development, or what was the focus?
well, they transferred the lodge to Baumansdale, and I still belonged, but I didn't attend.
Mm-hmm. But do you remember being in the building?
Yeah.
Yeah. So is there significance to the mural, for example? The beautiful painting that's on the wall?
Walls. Yeah, that. Oh. I remember the man that painted them. Oh.
Was he another member of the?
Yeah, he was a member of the church,
Mhm.
or the lodge.
And how frequently did you meet? Once a week?
Once a week, yeah.
And I think there's a kitchen up there. Were there meals involved?
No, they had every now and then they had a meal.
Just to eat for members or to
Yeah.
make money? Or
Yeah, just members. It was. Yeah, they had a kitchen, and the lodge room, and the paintings were on the wall and the ceiling.
Mhm.
I guess they're still there.
They are. They're very intriguing.
I can't think of what the guy's name was.
Well, that's all right. You can tell us later when you think of it. How many came to the meetings? 40 or 20 or?
Probably 20.
And then did you give money to the community or do any fundraising or?
I don't remember.
You don't remember? It was just a social time.
I don't remember.
You didn't have hot swinging parties.
I remember we played pinochle.
Well, that can get pretty hot. That's a Pennsylvania game for sure.
Yeah.
What is the origin of Rhoads? Is that from an English background? The name Rhoads?
German.
German.
Yeah.
Well, there's another pinochle connection.
Yeah.
Well, now tell us about. Can you remember the flood of, well, like Agnes or the one in 36?
Yeah. I remember going down to Camp Hill, and the river come up in the on the road, was up over the road, and
That was for Agnes? Or?
yeah, that was Agnes.
Do you remember that earlier one, that one in 36?
I remember my parents taking me down to see the river,
Mm-hmm.
because the river was up to Camp Hill, up in Camp Hill. Yeah.
But you never had any flooding in your house?
No. No, I lived in West North Street until I moved away,
Mm-hmm.
got married and moved away.
How about any snowstorm stories? Any stories about snow that you can remember?
I remember we had big snows, and they plowed the snow off the street along the curb, and they shoveled it off the pavement onto the street, and it used to plow along the street that you couldn't see across the street from the windows. But
Well, what did you do for recreation? Did you hike along any of the trails, or since you walk so much now, did you ever walk on the trails?
yeah, I went to the mountain. I hunted and walked.
What did you hunt? Deer?
Deer and rabbits, and I belonged to a pheasant club in Newville, and I hunted pheasants, which there isn't any now.
That's right.
Rabbits. I fished a lot.
On the Yellow Breeches, or
Yellow Breeches and the Conagwinet and the Susquehanna River. I fished the river quite a bit.
what fish did you take from the river?
Bass.
And the same for the Conagwinet? Was that bass?
Yeah, that was bass. And the Yellow Breeches was trout.
Well, this is the year that the Historical Society is thinking about the water-powered mills. Do you remember any experience with any of the mills that were in the area?
Yeah, I fished at all the dams at the
Did you?
mills. Yeah. Newville and the dam at the Conagwinet.
But where the mills were not turning then, were they? Were the mills still operational?
Yeah,
Were they?
They were operating.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Heisman's mill
Mm-hmm.
and the mill this end of Newville
The Lachlan Mill.
and the mill at Middlesex. There was about 4 or 5 mills down along the Yellow Breech, or along the Conagwinet from Newville down. And most of them are still in operation.
I guess since you were a town guy, you didn't go in the mills the way a farmer would have.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I never used the mills.
Mm-hmm. Now, when you talk about going to Newville to fish, did you take the trolley, or did you take your car?
Car.
But-
Had the car.
Do you remember using the trolleys and the trains though?
Yeah, I used to ride a bicycle to up along the Conagwinet and fish. I tied a fishing rod along the frame of the bicycle, and I still have a lot of pictures of fish.
Oh. Some really long ones?
Yeah, some 20 inches.
Whoa. You probably couldn't do that now.
Well, there's
Are there some that big?
there's some that big in the creek now. And there's trout 20 inches.
But now with the yellow breeches, is that catch and return, or can you keep it at the yellow breeches now?
You can keep it.
Can you?
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess a lot of people put them back in.
Well, I don't know.
They're not hungry enough to keep them. Do you have any reminiscences of parades in Carlisle, or
I remember a lot of parades in Carlisle. I don't know what they were.
do you remember the circus coming?
Huh?
Do you remember the circus
Oh
coming?
yeah, West North Street. I lived right
Hmm.
below where the head to circus. The circus used to pull in up at Lawther Street, and they had always performed up at on North Street, right below Cherry,
Oh,
where Reese Hoffman
Yeah.
is now.
wow.
That
That was the circus ground.
that was the circus grounds. Yeah.
So I know we have some nice pictures of elephants coming down the street. Do you remember that?
Yeah, they unloaded up at Cherry Street, Cherry and North, and then they paraded down street. They had wagons that they had cages on. And they had the lions and all. And,
Made for a boy.
Yeah.
Was there still a lot of horse-drawn traffic when you were a boy? Was there any horse-drawn traffic when you were a boy? Wagons and...
Yeah, I lived right where oh, the first street down north from
North from Lowther? Which direction?
no, It's over a block over.
Pomfret, that way? That's south.
I can't think of what the
Okay.
name of it is. It's Kruger's Dairy was on, and it went from North Street. It ended on North Street, and it went north from north. Oh.
On the other side of the little bridge?
Huh?
Did you cross the Latort stream?
No,
Oh,
not.
that's the wrong direction. Well, that's okay. But did the Kruger Dairy deliver with horse-drawn?
Horse-drawn carriages.
Mm-hmm.
They come in the street that they were on and generally turned down North Street
Oh.
and serviced the rest of the town. There was 2 or 3 farmers brought milk into town.
On their own,
Huh?
not associated with the dairy.
Dairy.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, what you did is put your milk bottles out, emptied them, and set them on your front porch, and they filled them, and that's how you got your milk.
Mm-hmm. How about any kind of a place where you went for an ice cream cone? Where did you do that as a young man?
Cougars had an ice cream. And Stan Boss had. They were down at west of North Street.
Okay.
And that's where the Wilson School building was down there.
Mm-hmm. Were there any other food treats that you had as a young person? Were there places that you went for special food?
It was 1, 2. There was three stores along North Street, grocery stores that I used to run errands for, and Spangler store was at West and North, and there was a butcher at West and North. I don't remember who it was, but it was a butcher shop, and
Were there any bakeries?
there was a bakery down North Street at and there was an alley back of North Street that there was a bakery on, and there was a bakery down Lawler Street. I forget what the name of it was.
Well, would your mother have used the bakery, or did she bake her own bread?
She used a bakery.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah, yeah.
How about laundry? Do you remember how she did laundry?
Troy Laundry.
But did your mother have a wringer machine and where you
Yeah,
fed it through
yeah.
to? And then, did you have a backyard?
yeah. We had a garden.
Did you put vegetables in? Were there vegetables in the garden?
Oh, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. My daddy raised plants. Tomato plants, cabbage plants, cauliflower plants. He had hotbeds. He used to dig them out about 4 foot high, and he got a horse manure and put in and covered soil about so much, and the heat off the horse manure kept the plants from freezing in the early spring, and he raised plants and sold them.
At the market? At the marketplace?
No, people used to
Mm-hmm.
come to our house and buy a dozen tomato plants and celery plants and cabbage plants, cauliflower plants.
Do you remember the the market house on the square?
Oh yeah,
What do you remember about that?
I remember. I knew the fellow that built the market house that's in the library.
Oh, okay,
Jim Wattstadt.
okay.
He built the market house that's in
The model, you mean?
yeah, the model.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember the market house.
Did you ever run errands down into that?
Huh?
Did you ever shop there for?
Oh yeah, every week.
Mm-hmm.
I went with my mother when I was little to the market house, and then when I got older, I went there myself.
Mm-hmm.
I had a wagon, and I used to haul baskets for people.
Oh.
He used to sit outside along Hanover Street, and
And they shop and put their things, and you would pull them around
yeah,
for them. Yeah.
your baskets and all. He used to,
Before shopping carts.
yeah.
Well, now I think you have 2 children of your own.
Yeah.
Are they in this area? Are they living in Carlisle now?
No.
Oh. So did you see them at Christmas time? You see your children at Christmas?
Yeah.
You have some grandchildren?
Huh?
Do you have some grandchildren?
I have 2 great-grandchildren, 2 boys. And I have a boy and a girl grandchildren.
Well, how about anything that you can think of that you would like us to know about the way you used to live in Carlisle
Yeah.
that people would find interesting now? Before television, did you listen to the radio?
Yeah, we had a radio. My brother built radios.
Oh,
We had a radio when I was in high school.
did you ever play pickup baseball?
Yeah, I played
Neighborhood.
baseball for the
For Maslin?
well, yeah, Maslin's. We played softball, and I played baseball for the, you know,
That North End team? Or
the playgrounds.
oh,
Linder Playground. I played for Linder Playground. And there was 4 or 5 playgrounds in town. They all had teams. They played each other.
oh.
Yeah.
Were you winners? How about any of the theaters, the movies?
The Orpheum Theater, used to go to it on Saturday. They had Western and the Strand Theater was on Pitt Street.
Did that burn also?
No, the
Oh, I see.
the Orpheum
Orpheum
Theater,
burn.
Orpheum Theater on High Street.
Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground. Did you come up with anything else about the Oddfellows that we should know about how the building? Did they own the whole building?
Yeah, they owned the building. They sold it when they disbanded and went to Baumansdale. They sold it for. I think they sold for $62,000. It was
Is it?
because we gave the money. What money the lodge had went to Baumansdale, and they got I think it was $62,000. Building down on High Street.
Well, I think you've had a very interesting life. Altogether, are you pretty satisfied with it?
I guess. I'm ready.
Well, you've had a much longer run than a lot of people.
Yeah.
Do you have anybody from your high school class who's also still living?
I don't know whether there's any of them living or not.
Do you have any secrets about longevity? Any secrets that you want to share about
No.
longevity? walking, right?
Walking, yeah. Yeah.
Well, I think we'll close if you don't have anything else.
I used to come to the historical society quite often, and I had
You gave us pictures.
yeah, I give them pictures, and knew Dick Tripp. And I don't know. There was a lot of people that I knew that I can't remember their names or anything.
Mm-hmm. It's frustrating. Well, we're very glad that you shared what you did. This will be very nice to have on our record. Thank you. So I guess we'll close for now, and then if you can think of some other things, you let Richard know, and we'll talk to you some more.
Okay.